Most leaders think pruning means cutting the things that are obviously failing, but the hardest and maybe the most important cuts are the ones you make to the things that are actually working. Today, I'm walking through the 3 things every leader needs to stop doing, and the third one is the one that trips almost everybody up. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Welcome back to the Lead with More podcast, where we help you lead with clarity, intentionality, and confidence. I want to talk today about something I've been wrestling with in my own life, and honestly, in this podcast. That is this idea of pruning. Now, this isn't just a business concept. I want you to think about how this applies to your whole life, and not just to your career or business. Now, if you've been around this podcast for very long, you've heard me talk about full focus, and they talk about this idea of the double win, that is, winning at work and succeeding at life. And here's the thing, you can win at work and still not succeed at life. Winning at work is necessary, but it's not enough. There's more to life than a successful business. Then that's where pruning comes in. Because here's what you need to remember. You can't do it all. You have a finite amount of time, a finite amount of energy, and a finite amount of money. No matter how much you think you have, it's finite. And if you want to be effective, especially as a leader, you have to know where you're putting that energy, and just as important, where you're not. So today, I'm giving you 3 things to stop doing. Okay, the first one is easiest to spot, and honestly, it's the one most of us already know deep down. If something isn't producing results, stop doing it. Think about it like farming. If you're growing a crop, there's always a season of sowing before you see a harvest. Nobody expects fruit the day after they plant the seed. There's a reasonable amount of time when you're supposed to be waiting, working, and trusting the process. But if you've given something real time, a year in a lot of cases, and there's no sign of growth, no indication that results are coming, then it's time to stop. Not because you failed, but because that's not where your fruit is going to come from. Now, if you're seeing signs, some kind of growth or some kind of encouragement that it's headed somewhere, keep going. This isn't about quitting the moment things get hard. It's about being honest when something has had a fair shot and simply isn't producing. Make the decision to stop and focus your efforts elsewhere. Now, the second category is a little trickier because these things aren't producing nothing, they're just producing less than they should. Now, I've got a peach tree in my backyard, and that first year, we knew no fruit. That's normal for a young tree. Last year, however, it did produce fruit, just not good fruit, small and underdeveloped, not edible. But here's the key. That was actually right on schedule for this tree. We knew that it would take a couple of years before the fruit was worth anything. So that is not a Category 2 problem. That's just the process working the way it's supposed to. But if something you're doing has had enough time and it's still only producing subpar results, barely covering its cost, barely worth the effort, that's different. That's not still growing. That's what it is. And if what it is isn't good enough to justify the resources you're pouring into it, it's time to stop. Recommit those resources to something more productive. Now, this third category is where it gets difficult, because the first 2 categories are about things that are failing in one way or another. This third one isn't. This is about the projects, the tasks, the commitments that are actually working. They're producing good results. Nothing wrong with them on paper. And I'm telling you, you might still need to stop. And here's why. If something is good, but it's not the best use of your time or your energy or resources, every minute you spend there is a minute you're not spending on the thing that could produce your very best fruit. Good is the enemy of best. Not because good things are bad, but because good things are subtle. They don't set off the alarms the way failure does. They just quietly consume the capacity you need for what matters the most. So the hard question isn't, is this working? The hard question then is this the best thing I could be doing with this time, energy, or money? It's better to produce a few high-producing results than a lot of mediocre fruit. So how do you actually tell the difference between good and best? Now, for me, it comes down to 2 things: a vision for your life and a way to measure success against it. That means knowing what you're actually trying to accomplish across all the areas of your life, not just work, and having annual goals that tell you where you need to make the most progress. That's what tells you where your best return is going to come from, whether you're investing time, energy, or money. But I know that get a vision and measure your progress feels really abstract. So let me give you a simple gut check you can run today on anything that you're currently doing that's producing good, but maybe not great results. If you could only keep 3 things you're currently doing, would this one make the list? That's it. Ask about your commitments, your projects, even your relationships and habits. If the honest answer is no, that's your signal. Not that the thing is bad, just that it's not your best right now. Now, I'm going through this myself right now with some projects. I'm having to ask, is this the best use of my time? Is it producing good results? Or is it poor results? Maybe no results at all. And this may be the most useful question I ask myself. If this project was completely successful, would the results be worth the effort that I put into it? Is there enough juice in this squeeze? And honestly, I don't have a clean measuring stick for that yet. That's something I'm actively building and continually evaluating. But I'd rather just be honest with you about that than pretend that I've got it all figured out. But it's a good place to start. So where do you go with this? And here's what I want you to do this week. Take an honest look at 3 things you're currently spending time, energy, or money on, and run each one through the 3 categories: no results, poor results, or good but not best. And for anything that lands in that 3rd category, ask the question, if I could only keep 3 things, would this make the cut? You don't have to prune everything today. Just start seeing with more clarity. That's the first step. Greater productivity just makes you busy. Effectiveness is built on the willingness to focus on the best things and prune the rest. I would encourage you to give it a shot. Prune one thing. It'll be worth it. Now, if this episode resonates with you, share it with a leader who needs it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps this podcast. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, keep leading with more.